Yeah, you can move a little bit slowly, not too fast. All right. So in the last few classes here, we've been talking about RGB and color modes. Let's just hide Photoshop real quick, and let's go to our ENC Media photo class. Okay, so, and let me scroll down a bit to get to. Let's just review really quickly the last class, what we talked about. We were talking about gamut, not gamut. This is CMYK gamut. And that means how much color is in each color model. So we looked at CMYK has the smallest amount of color for the three main color models we'll be working with. We're going to be mainly working in RGB. There's others too, but for the most part, this class, since it's a photography class for the web, we're not going to do much printing. We're going to be right here in this color model, RGB. And we said there were big differences between RGB and CMYK because when we change that color model, all of a sudden you have less color and the color will seem muddy, murky, less saturated. So today I want to show you exactly where those RGB channels live. All cameras are RGB cameras. There is no CMYK camera. That would mean your camera would have ink in it. And there are no ink cameras. There is only cameras that when the light goes through the lens, it hits a little chip, and that chip will divide your image into red, green, and blue. Yes?
And the shades in between, or where?
And the shades in between. Let's take a look at those shades in between and where they live. So under our color models and gamut, the next page is for alpha channels and channels in general. And this is a close-up of a card of CMYK, and this is a close-up of a card in RGB. In this case, there aren't any shades, but I'm going to show you where the shades are. Let's start with the RGB, because that's, I think, a little bit easier to understand, maybe. So this is the card, and this is the close-up. Can we Apple Plus into that a little bit? There we go. Thank you, control room. All right. So in the card, that close-up shows us that we have in the king's jacket yellow, red, and black. That's what it looks like. And this is what the channels to make that image look like. You've got red channel making red, and then you've got green channel. There is no green in the red, and then blue channel, there is no blue in that, so it's only red. But look at yellow. Since there isn't yellow in RGB, the red channel mixes with the green channel to make the yellow. The T here in black has no color for any of the channels. Why is that? Why is there no color for any of the channels? Why?
Because RGB color is additive, so it means that when there's like no color values at all, it'll be black. And
yes. There's no light, it's black. So the reason I'm getting close is because I didn't mic you guys up. You're going to have to talk into my mic, or you'll just sound like this. You won't be able to hear. So I might stand over and hover over you so you get to talk into my mic. And that's true. If there is no color, it means there's no light. Look at the little white cube down here. It's just the opposite. You get a red, you get a green, and you get a blue. You put them all together. Oh, that's too much light. It's white. Okay? So this is how the RGB channels make an image in RGB. You can also do the same thing with CMYK. So here we have a close-up of a card with cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And here, well, with the cyan, let's take a look at this. Where we have the red, there is no cyan and red. Where we have magenta, there is magenta and red. And where we have the yellow channel, there is yellow. So you mix magenta with yellow, it'll make the red. And here we do have yellow. So the yellow channel is the only thing making the yellow part. The T in this case is made with a little bit of every channel. It's got except yellow. Cyan, magenta has a little bit of color in there, and mainly it's done with black. Because remember, with CMYK, you can't really mix colors to make good black. You have to add black in it. The white is just the opposite here. You've got no color, no color, no color, and no color. You leave the paper white, it just shows up as white. So you don't add any colors to make white. Those are all known as the channels for individual colors. Here are the notes for today. Control room, could you zoom in on the channels? Thank you, control room. So let's see. Except when in bitmap or index mode, because there are color modes that are very simple. Bitmaps are maybe what you make cell phone graphics for. So bitmap and index mode, very simple. They don't need colors. All documents in other modes have channels. Channels are used to store information about image color. A document in RGB color mode has a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel. Every pixel in the document has red, green, and blue values. With channels, these values can be isolated and edited independently. So I'll show you guys in a second in Photoshop how you can go in and edit those individual channels. But that's a little bit advanced for a beginning photography class. I think the important thing to learn here is that an RGB image originated in your camera is made up of values of different colors, which are red, green, and blue. And they are going to overlap each other to create an image. We'll take a look at that in a second in Photoshop, and it'll become a little bit easier to understand. So here we are back in Photoshop. And I want to show you where the channels live and how they work. If I go over, here is the layers palette. Next to the layers is the channels palette. If for whatever reason it should have maybe gotten minimized, you can always find it under Window, and you can go to Channels, and it'll pop up. So there they are. You've got a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel, and you can isolate those by clicking on them. That's only the red channel. Now, when you're looking at this, you're looking at values. This is where the values are. So there are different values of red, and where there is black, remember, it's RGB, so if there is no color, it means it's blocking that light. So this, you see the, which ones are there? The spades? So the spades are black, but over, if we look at the composite, let's add green, you can see that with the green, these values start to show up because you're layering. It's showing more white and it's showing the red. And if I add the blue channel all together, that's how all three of those colors overlap each other to create an image. We could look at isolating just the green and the blue. That's what the green and the blue mix together. Or just the blue alone, that's how the blue alone looks. Notice in the white areas, there's always a color. There's always a color. When there's green, there's always a color. And that's because we know all three colors together make white. So people go in, and you can do all kinds of different things. You can go in and edit under image adjustments. You can go in, and it's not allowing me to do right now a channel mixer because I'm in the channels themselves. But if I go into my layers tab and just select that background layer, now I go to image and then go to adjustments. It's still not letting me, and I don't know why. Let's see, image mode. Let's look at what mode we're in. We're in RGB color at 8-bit. Let's do one thing. I'm going to go into my background here, double click on it, and call it layer 0. Sometimes it doesn't it cancels out some of the functions under the background layer. So I just called it layer 0, so it's not a background layer. And now if I go to image, adjustments, now it's there. So it was the problem was a background layer. So now I'm going to go to channel mixer. And we can see what happens if I take all the red out of that color. It starts to look just like the image looked when I only had the green and the blue. Or I can add more red in this case. Now it's starting to look a little red into the white areas there. I can go in and take out all the green or add green. So some photographers will go in and edit those channels independently. I don't think there is actually a project which we're starting tomorrow where you're going to have to do that. For those of you that are in my interdisciplinary, we're going to need to no, that's the next interdisciplinary. We will need to do that. When we make our images look like cartoons, we're going to use that channel mixer. Not tomorrow though. So let's get back to the channels. I think the important thing to understand is just the way that a camera makes an image. And the way it makes an image is by stacking red, green, and blue values, blocking some of them out and leaving others. So now it's not allowing me to change this for some reason. Okay, oh, something is locked. I'm in the paint mode maybe. No. For some reason it locked up there. But I think we're done with this portion of it anyway. We've got red, green, and blue values stacked together, making one image. Let's go back to our website to see the other portion of our lesson. Let me just hide. See, everything is locked up. Well, isn't that terrible? Control room, could you glide the cursor over there we go, and then we'll just click on here. Could you click on Firefox for me? Yeah, for some reason it's locked out. Let me see if I can move this here. No. Control room, can you take the slider at the bottom over to the left? Okay, and now we want to see that channels palette up higher. So could you take the slider all the way to the right and bring that down? Thank you. All right. So there is a channels palette, and here we have a mustache that's floating over a baseball field. It's hard to see, but that's what it is. And you get a red channel, a green channel, and a blue channel. But now there's another channel that we haven't talked about yet, and that is the alpha channel. So the alpha channel means that whatever transparency information you have, we took that in our notes the other day, whatever transparency information is needed, that can also be stored in your channels palette.